Peace family, conjurequeen here, and today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, and we are continuing on with our daily tarot. So let's see what message the Divine Spirit has for us today. So we are going to flip over these cards. This is the Egyptian Book of Doors deck. Ooh, we got Set. Okay. It's about to get reals. Oh, Lord. Okay, and we have the Priestess, right, of Wands from the Mother Peace deck. And now we're going to flip over the Legacy deck, which is the Four of Swords. Okay, so this is a really interesting pull that we have here, family, because I'm going to break it down for you. Now, I'm trying to get that glare out of there. Now, look, we have Set, right? Okay, we're going to start from the middle first because this is going to get interesting. Now, as you can see, we have the Priestess of Wands. Now, she is basically a person who's going through life, going through the journey of life, creating, healing, going through the ups and downs, but she's not by herself. She has a familiar, her guardian angel and spirit guide right beside her, leading her along the way. So she's not alone. And as she's going through this journey of life, the ups and downs, she's being guided, right? Heavenly, divinely guided. But as she's going through this journey, understand that there is always going to be challenges and temptations of the ego, which is Set. Set represents the ego, the lower nature of man, the lower desires, the thing that keeps us away from our spirit and our higher purpose, right? So Set can come in the form of, quote unquote, the devil, the temptation, addictions. Like it can be that ex-boyfriend that probably has some really great sex, but you know that his energy is toxic and you keep going back and you know you shouldn't. Or let's say, for instance, you've been fighting a battle. Let's say you overcome a certain addiction. You finally quit smoking or you finally quit drinking. And that temptation is trying to come back into your life. So I feel like the Priestess here is basically saying you have a choice in life. Whether you want to go with the ego choice, the lower nature, which is Set, right, which will distract you from your higher purpose and your path, or do you choose the Four of Swords from the Legacy deck, which basically shows a person who's resting, but I see this as being the soul, the spirit, right? The spirit or the Ba is flying over the body. And basically what this means is, being a healer, a priestess, or having a spiritual journey, you're always going to be torn between feeding the ego and feeding the spirit. Now, as you can see, the spirit is resting right now because for a lot of us, maybe we're coming into this spiritual awakening and our powers have been dormant for some time. So I kind of see this as being like a rebirth or a revival, right? Like a waking up of the soul, a resurrection, actually. When I see this, I think of a resurrection, like the true you finally standing forward, being healed and from sleep and all of that time. Like you are the sleeping giants that they talk about in antiquity in the history books. Like they talk about you, the sleeping giant. And I feel like now you're waking up. Now that you have come out of this battle with Set, right? That addiction, those toxic behaviors, the old lower you. I feel like now you're kind of just in this place where it's like, all right, you know what? I've been fighting these battles. I've been overcoming like the dark night of the soul. Like I'm finally healing myself. I got out of that toxic relationship. So now I'm ready to heal me. Now I'm ready to work on me. And with my guide, my spirit guide beside me and my ancestors guiding me and the spiritual, the spiritual community assisting me. Now I know that it's time for me to rejuvenate and feed my soul, feed my spirit. But understand that every time you elevate and every time you're about to elevate to a whole nother level, there's always going to be temptations from Set, the ego, to see how much have you grown. Will you fall back? Will you digress? Will you go backwards or will you look forward? Okay, so I feel like this is us, and this is kind of like a warning, basically saying be careful of temptations that may try to reappear or resurface, because the devil knows how to tempt you, right? The devil is very sneaky. The devil doesn't tempt you with things that you don't like. The devil tempts you with things that you do like. You get me? He preys upon our weaknesses. So what you really want to do is, in order to feed your spirit, right, you want to do some more meditation. You want to do some sitting at your ancestral altar or doing some spiritual practice, deep breathing, yoga, keeping a journal, so that way you can keep record of like how far you've come, all of the battles that you've overcome, how powerful you've become. Like, you are elevated and you are growing so much, so you have to commend yourself. And listen, it's okay to take a break. This also represents an omen of like you overworking yourself. If you've been like putting in that overtime, grinding, hustling, girl, like making that money, like I really feel like, you know what, this is an omen of like it's time to rest. We are in a waning moon right now, which means that the moon is dying or losing its strength. So remember, as women, we are also in sync with the moon. And not just women, but men too. Like, we're all human beings. We're all connected to the lunar energies, as above, so below. So now you want to take this time to kind of like settle down, rejuvenate your spirit. You've been battling. You've been in a battle with your ego for some time. So I know it's tiresome. Like, battling somebody else is tiresome. But imagine battling yourself, battling your lower self, right? So now you finally chosen to ascend and to feed your spirit instead of the ego. And now you need to rest because your spirit's been through a lot. And I feel like once you give yourself that self-love, that care that your spirit and your soul's been needing and craving, like, you're going to be rejuvenated. You're going to be resurrected, a whole new entire being. And whoo, honey, it's going to be a wrap. Like, people not even going to recognize you. You're going to have this like godly glow about you, and you're going to be conquerors. As you can see, the Priestess of Wands, she's a creator of her own reality. You see the rainbow, right? So basically, after every storm, there is a rainbow. So understand that whatever darkness you've been going through, whatever challenges you've been going through, the rewards are going to come. You already overcome the temptation. So now you have to rejuvenate and heal your body from all of the battling that you've been doing with yourself. But remember, if there's no enemy within, there's no enemy without. So we always have to eradicate those flaws and weaknesses and challenges within ourselves, healing our inner self. So that way, when exterior temptations, right, temptations come on the outside world, we won't fall prey to them because we've already done the inner work, right? People think the spiritual journey is all love and light, but it's not. It's about going through the darkness and then finding the light. So this is a really powerful omen, family. You've been coming so far. And you know what? We're going to pull a scripture from the Bible. Randomly, we have pulled, opened up the Bible and we flicked through the Bible and we picked a random passage. And I think that's really interesting what came up. So we actually pulled Kings chapter 5, verses 3 through 4. And I'm going to let you read it with me. Okay, so basically it says, you know that David, my father, could not build a house for the name of the Lord, his God, because of the warfare with which his enemies surrounded him, until the Lord put them under the soles of his feet. Ashe. But now the Lord, my God, has given me rest on every side. There is neither adversary nor misfortune. Ashe. So basically what this passage right here, tell me that doesn't synchronize with what we just pulled with the tower reading. And this is all random, but remember, nothing in the universe is coincidental. So basically this means that we have to submit the ego in order for us to have peace in life, right? In order for us to slay our enemies, basically what that was saying was we cannot build a house of God. What's the house of God? That is a place where our soul is. Our God is soul, right? Our true essence. And he said that he couldn't build a house for it, meaning like a strong foundation, because he had so many enemies around him. He was filled with so many contradicting enemies, the enemies within himself, right? Contradicting minds, contradicting thoughts. Our ego is the childish mind that's telling us, oh, it doesn't hurt to go back to the ex. Oh, it doesn't hurt to just take a pull of this cigarette. Oh, one drink of this alcoholic beverage won't hurt you. And you've been really working hard to get healthy, or you've been really working hard to like curb that bad habit or get rid of that toxic ex. So that ego is always going to tempt you and tell you that you should do it. But the soul and the spirit is the adult that tells you that you shouldn't. So basically, he couldn't build the house of God for the soul because he had too many contradicting thoughts in his mind. It wasn't until he eradicated the ego, he submitted the ego, put the ego under his feet by dominating it, the lower self, where he was finally able to focus on his higher self. He was finally able to realign with God, with his true divine nature. So that's basically what that passage means. It means that if there is no enemy within, there could be no enemy without that can harm you, right? So this is really powerful, family. So understand that whatever battle you've been going through, keep fighting the fight, but don't forget that rest is also important, right? Grinding, hustling, working is cool, but listen, you still got to rest. You got to heal your soul. You've been through a lot. You've been doing a lot of healing work, so it's okay to rejuvenate yourself. Take you a nice salt bath, soak in some like eucalyptus for healing. Rosemary is also good for healing, spiritual healing, rejuvenation of the mind and the spirit, purification, right? Take you a nice rosemary bath. Do some meditation by your altar, light some white candles, and just chill out like for the next couple of days. Even if you could take a day off, just really relax yourself and recuperate. So that way, you will feel refreshed. You will feel refreshed and renewed and rejuvenated and uplifted, right? Resurrected. So now is the time that we resurrect ourselves and become renewed and transformed, not submitting to our egos, but more so feeding our soul. So whenever you find yourself in between and you're pulled between two different places, and you hear that voice that's telling you to do something, naughty or tempting, and you know that you shouldn't do it, and you hear your other voice telling you, you know what, I don't think that's a wise idea. Try to listen to the voice that makes more sense to you, not the one that's more tempting. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, we have free will, and you always have a choice. And every choice that you make, it puts you where you are today. Every decision that you made in the past, it puts you where you are today. And every decision that you make now will determine your future. Ashe. So that is the message for today, family. I hope that this message has touched you or resonated in some way. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified when we have more daily messages of the day. Also, share this with a friend and drop your comments down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Until next time, Conjure Queen signing out. Peace.